Okay, today I'm gonna do something I told myself I would never do on this show. I'm going to get a bit political. Now, I usually tend to stay away from this topic in my videos because saying that talking politics, especially right now, tends to bring out the most toxic people on the internet in droves to bicker like grade school children is a massive understatement. So let it be known that for me to actually delve into this virtual shitstorm means I feel very strongly about this and feel like it needs to be said. Now before you get out your pitchforks, let me just say that I couldn't care less what party you're affiliated with. I have my own opinion, sure, but I also believe you have the right to yours no matter how much I may disagree with it. And if, at any point, you feel a compulsion to start angrily typing away on your keyboards in the comment section, just remember, this isn't Sparta. Having the loudest voice in the room will not get you the floor. This video isn't about parties, policies, or even political figures, although there will be some discussion on that since it's impossible to avoid given the current political climate. This video is about ideals, specifically American ideals, and on that note, I want to talk about Captain America. That's right, Captain America, the World War II soldier who is so damn patriotic that he wears red, white, and blue wherever he goes with a flag as his shield. So instantly recognizable and symbolic that when you think of legendary American icons that represent who we are as a nation, he'd probably be on the short list along with the Statue of Liberty, the Declaration of Independence, and maybe Uncle Sam. For all intents and purposes, he is the American ideal, not just in his physicality, but also in his ideology. Captain America's heart has always lied with the fundamentals of truth, justice, and the American way. It's what he started fighting for and what he will always fight for. No, we don't talk about the Hydra thing, shut up. But what exactly is the American way? Well, if we're following the good Captain's example, we can safely say it does not mean the American government. It does not mean its leaders, it does not mean its parties, policies, agendas, or elections. It means one thing and one thing only, the American dream for the people. Just to prove the point, let's look at some examples. Once when Captain America was pressured into running for president, he said, "I have worked and fought all my life for the growth and advancement of the American dream, and I believe my duty to the dream would severely limit any abilities I might have to preserve the reality. We must all live in the world, and sometimes that can be pretty grim, but it is the dream, the hope, that makes the reality worth living." When he was told by a US general that the government valued his loyalty, he simply replied, "I'm loyal to nothing, General, except the dream." That was a quote that was actually reused recently in the comics. When the government went too far, he actually quit being Captain America, stating that, "I cannot represent the American government, the president does that. I must represent the American people. I represent the American dream, the freedom to strive to become all that you dream of being." Notice how he doesn't say anything about how the government knows best, or this party is more right than this party. That stuff doesn't matter. What does matter is how it affects the people, whether it's causing good or harm. And if it's causing harm, he has no problem standing up to it. And I'm not just talking about Steve Rogers either, Sam Wilson did it too. He fought against police brutality in the form of the mercenary-led AmeriCops, who resorted to excessive force when arresting a vigilante known as Rage. He protected Mexican immigrants from border-protecting racists, and he made hard choices like leaking footage of police brutality for what he believed to be right, what he felt was the best move to call out injustice and prevent more harm to the people. Being Captain America is about standing for more than America's politics, its economy, or even its current cultural standards. It's about trying to be everything that America deserves to be and fighting like hell to make that a reality. But what does America deserve to be exactly? Again, if we're going by the Captain's example, it's about standing up against the bullies, it's about helping those who are struggling, it's about raising people up to be the best versions of themselves, that promote good faith and fellowship with everyone around. Not everyone except the ones you don't like, but everyone, no matter where you're from. Because people have power. Individually, people are capable of great things, capable of making the world so much better than it is. In well-organized groups, they form an alliance that can conquer damn near anything, including long-standing social norms and cultural beliefs that are objectively and ethically wrong. But it's also full of people that would seek to tear it down, that would seek to take this power and redirect it to their own ends. And unfortunately, many of those people lie within our own backyard. Whether it's people that currently occupy government positions, or extreme supporters whose blind faith borders on zealotry.
Jews will not replace us! Jews will not replace.
Which leads me to this simple statement. Being Captain America doesn't mean you have to agree with America. And this is the part where it's impossible not to talk about the elephant in the room. Now, at the time I'm writing this editorial, America is deeply divided, seemingly on party lines, between Republicans and Democrats. Now, for the sake of full disclosure, it's worth noting I'm more on the left, but after poring over political articles, watching different news outlets, and watching the political climate shift and turn over this insane year, The part that disturbs me the most, outside of what's going on in the White House, is how we, the people, choose to talk to each other about these issues. As we previously established, Captain America once said to a US general, "I'm loyal to nothing, General, except the dream." But here's the thing that's been bothering me. A lot of us aren't right now, when we should be. And I say we because, like it or not, we're all Americans here, and therefore all responsible for the current state. But the landscape of discussion that should be focused on how to fix the problems of the world and how we can make lives better for all is instead a shouting match between the loudest of the Republicans and the loudest of the Democrats, and nothing is getting resolved. And that's where, in my opinion, a lot of the problems tend to come up. Because for a country that's supposed to be about unity, it's weird that we're seemingly deliberately put in a system where we're forced to pick a side. And the mentality seems to be that because you pick the side you're on, that you have to support everything that side does, no matter your own thoughts on whether or not it's right. So you'll find perfectly reasonable people bend over backwards to defend policies and laws that are objectively wrong, and in some cases horrifying, simply because it's their party that made it. They'll support politicians that have publicly done horrible things that go against what America is, simply because they belong to your party. Is it just me, or does that seem kind of backwards to you? Watching a country of brilliant individuals who are capable of great things devolve into extreme loyalists who are incapable of thinking for themselves. And this is not a new problem, let's be clear, but the extremes this year has brought into our nation definitely highlights how bad the problem has become. Legitimate criticism for people in their own party are actively drowned out by the most vocal supporters, people who actually think that the hateful answer is the right one, and thus they appear to dominate the conversation. So am I saying that we need to ditch the party system altogether? Honestly, I think it's a serious question we need to consider one day, but it's not what we need to do now. What we need to do now is think beyond the parties and start thinking towards the people. You, watching this right now, have the capability of complex thought, and you need to decide for yourself what you believe and what you stand for. Never let that be dictated by others. You don't even need to agree with me, but you need to decide for yourself what is right, not just for yourself, but for everyone. Because right now, we all need to be Captain America. We need to forgo our usual hoopla of which side is right, instead focus on doing right. If it hurts others, either individually or en masse, we need to push back. If our country's move is based on fear and mistrust of our neighbor, then we need to promote faith and understanding. We are not the country that should hit first, but we should defend when we're needed. Now, I'm not saying I want you to pick up a shield and start punching Nazis, but I want you to think for yourselves, not just what people tell you to think. Do your research, find your own footing, and find a way to help people that's unique to you, but never ever stop trying to represent the best that we can be, good, right, and proud. Now, I have faith that while there are increasingly vocal group of people that promote racism, bigotry, homophobia, and hate, there will always be others prepared to stand for that American ideal, for the American people. And right now, it needs to be you, or else the hate will be used to turn this once great nation into nothing but a shell of everything it's been and everything it could be. Many of you already are, and for those of you watching right now, I salute you. Because not only are you representing the unity we need to grow, but also the push we need to make. Now, I'm going to end this with one more Captain America speech he made shortly after being an imposter in the 50s. Listen to me, all of you out there. You were told by this man, your hero, that America is the greatest country in the world. He told you that Americans were the greatest people, that America could be refined like silver, could have the impurities hammered out of it, and shine more brightly. He went on about how precious America was, how you needed to make sure it remained great, and he told you anything was justified to preserve that great treasure, that pearl of great price that is America. Well, I saw America is nothing. Without its ordeals, its commitment to the freedom of all men, America is a piece of trash. A nation is nothing. A flag is a piece of cloth. I fought Adolf Hitler, not because America was great, but because it was fragile. I knew that liberty could as easily be snuffed out here as in Nazi Germany. As a people, we are no different from them. When I returned, I saw that you nearly did turn America into nothing. And the only reason you're not less than nothing is that it's still possible for you to bring freedom back to America.